You've seen the posters, bright yellow bubble letters. Keep smiling. You've heard it too, maybe from a friend, maybe from yourself. Come on, think positive. Choose happiness. Good vibes only. At first it sounds harmless, even kind. Who wouldn't want to feel better? But behind that smile, something often aches, quietly, alone. What if the pursuit of happiness, this constant push to be okay, is part of what's hurting you? What if trying so hard to be happy is, in itself, making you miserable? We live in a culture that treats unhappiness as a personal failure, as if sadness is a disease and joy is the cure you're too lazy to take. If you're not cheerful, if you're not grateful, if you're not radiating good energy, then clearly something's wrong with you. But here's the truth we rarely say aloud. Being human means feeling pain, and there's nothing broken about you for carrying it. There's a quiet tyranny in forced positivity. It tells you that suffering is unacceptable, that grief, anger, anxiety, they don't belong in polite conversation. So you learn to hide it, to swallow it, to smile when you want to scream, because that's what strong people do, right? But strength isn't about pretending. It's about facing what's real. And yet, everywhere you look, happiness is sold like a product. Scroll through your feed and you'll see it. Curated perfection, sunset yoga, filtered joy, the self-help gurus promising bliss in 30 days. The influencers selling calm in a bottle. There's always something missing from your life, they say. And lucky for you, it's just one purchase away. This isn't wellness. It's marketing. It feeds on the idea that you're not enough unless you're happy. And so we buy, we smile, we post, and we hide. Even our bodies know the truth. When you force yourself to be cheerful, to stay positive at all costs, your nervous system suffers. Studies show that suppressing negative emotions doesn't heal them. It only drives them deeper, raises your cortisol, tightens your chest. It's like painting over a moldy wall. The cracks return, only darker. And what makes it worse is that you're not alone in feeling this way. But you feel alone, because everyone else seems fine. Happy, successful, glowing. But that's not real life. That's Instagram. Social media thrives on illusion, on highlight reels and perfect angles. And when you compare your raw, unfiltered moments to someone else's polished feed, it's easy to believe you're failing at life, even when you're just being real. Then comes the language. Don't be so negative. Other people have it worse. Just be happy. These words, often said with good intentions, can silence something sacred. Your pain, your truth. And the more we hear them, the more we begin to police our own emotions. We start to judge ourselves not just for feeling bad, but for daring to feel bad. A sadness about our sadness, a shame about our fear, layer upon layer, until you don't even know where the original feeling began. It's a cruel irony, isn't it? That in chasing happiness, we lose the space to be whole. Some thinkers, like Viktor Frankl, believe that happiness isn't something you chase. It's something that happens as a byproduct of meaning, of growth, of truth. The more you run after joy like it's a prize to be won, the more it slips away like mist. But if you turn toward life, all of it, not just the bright parts, something deeper begins to grow. And nowhere is this more obvious than in the workplace. Smile for the customer. Bring your best self to work. As if people are robots. As if emotional labor isn't labor at all. In many jobs, especially service roles, especially for women, the expectation isn't just to perform a task, but to perform happiness. To look cheerful, even when you're falling apart inside. It's exhausting. And no company wellness program can fix that if it doesn't allow space for emotional honesty. You see, when sadness becomes taboo, it doesn't disappear. It just turns inward. You begin to believe that your pain is a burden, that your anxiety makes you weak, that your grief is unlovable. And so you shrink, you numb, you disconnect. Not just from others, but from yourself. But what if we did the opposite? What if instead of running from hard feelings, you welcome them in, like guests with stories to tell? What if emotional health wasn't about avoiding pain, but making room for it? That's what radical acceptance looks like. That's what emotional literacy teaches. To name what you feel, to listen, to understand. Not to fix, not to change, but to witness. There are practices that help. Journaling, therapy, sitting quietly with yourself, not to become happy, but to become whole. Interestingly, some cultures never fell into this happiness trap. In Buddhism, suffering is not a mistake. It's a teacher. In Japanese philosophy, there's a concept called wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection, in the transient, in the flawed. They don't ask you to chase joy. They invite you to be present. even in sadness. And maybe that's why so much of the world's greatest art comes from grief. Music that aches, poetry that bleeds. Sorrow has never been the enemy of beauty. It's often its source. Sadness doesn't mean something's gone wrong. It means you're alive. It means you care. You loved. You hoped. And yes, you lost. But isn't that the story of being human? So let's imagine something different. A world where children are taught not to stay strong, but to stay open. Where schools teach emotional fluency, not just emotional discipline. Where we listen when someone says, "I'm not okay," without rushing to fix them. Where we no longer praise shallow joy over authentic being. Maybe then we'd begin to heal. Not by deleting the dark, but by letting it sit beside the light. Not by chasing smiles, but by honoring tears. Because to feel deeply is not weakness. It's the soul's proof of life. And you, just as you are, even in the shadows, you are enough.